Hello, welcome my Universi-Tea members for another wonderful episode about tea. And hopefully you have already received your box of teas. And you might notice that there's quite a bit of them. Some of them we've done before and some of them are brand new. Today I want to feature our Kenyan Safari Oolong. Remember, I promised you, those of you who've been members for a while, I promised you when we had Paul Bain speak that we're going to slowly sample out more and more Kenyan teas. And in Kenya, it is a country that is known for black teas, but they also make all kinds of tea there, and it is relatively new. So if you're watching right now, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know what kind of cup of tea you are having today. I'm really curious to know what you are drinking out of your tea selection. And hopefully you got to check out the podcast, the live podcast we did with Ashley and on National Hot Tea Month. So it is January, so it's National Hot Tea Month. Happy National Hot Tea Month to you. And hopefully you are taking some time for reflection to evaluate and plan what your new year is going to be like. And so Ashley and I were talking about different things that we can do every day to help our health and wellness. So hopefully you got to check that out next week, next Tuesday. I think it should be going out anywhere that you listen to podcasts, whether it's Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is. Hopefully you should check that out. And also our episode with Bonnie Giller, the dietitian who came as a guest speaker talking about intuitive eating. That podcast was released last week. So today we are going to go over the Safari Oolong from Kenya. And this is a very unique oolong because typically oolongs are not commonly made even in Kenya. Now there are places in India that are making oolongs, but Kenya, who is known for really robust black teas. So this is a very interesting one. Now, remember all the teas that you got this month, a bunch of them will be going over into the next month for our level 1 of the University Tea Certification Program. So make sure that you have some of those teas ready for next month. And check out the university portal. I will be slowly getting us ready for prepping for the beginning of February, where we will be starting level 1 for the University Certification Program. And I've already booked a bunch of special guests, speakers, and growers from around the world, including Hawaii and Colombia coming up. So you don't want to miss that. So also, another thing in your calendar, if you've not subscribed to the Google Calendar already, it is in an email that I sent to everyone. I sent to everyone an email to make sure that you book a call with me and let me know, just basic information. Make sure we're sending your tea to the right location. What do you think about the program? What you want to see that's new and upcoming? And so check out your email. It has the Google Calendar that says when I'm going live each week and what times I'm going live, no matter what time zone you're in, and it should send you a notification. So in that notification, it should say that next Monday, I think it is January 18th, we are having a virtual tea party. So hopefully you're going to show up there. Bring your questions, bring your ideas. Let us know what you've been doing this past month with teas and experiments you've been doing. We would love to hear about that. So who's going to be with me? Who's going to be with me in Zoom for the virtual tea party? You won't want to miss that. If you can't get any of the resources, make sure you're emailing me at jenny@sippingstreams.com so I can get your notifications. We're currently changing out our email server right now, so we should be getting those emails. They might just be delayed a little bit. And of course, on that welcome package, you even have my cell phone number. So if you need to get a hold of me, you have my cell phone number. Yes, hopefully me. Yes, good. So that virtual tea party is happening Monday, January 18th. I hope it's the 18th. It's Monday at 8 a.m. Alaska Standard Time. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. hopefully you'll be joining in the Zoom for our virtual tea party. Come and meet our new members, introduce yourselves, and it'll just be a fun time to have tea together. Bringing ideas up. I know lots of you have been doing different types of blog posts or Instagram posts on your feed about tea, comparing different qualities of tea and so forth. And I will be announcing new and upcoming teas, rare teas that are coming up. One of them, I just paid an exorbitant amount of tea to reserve the only small batch that they have. So they will also be a guest speaker that's coming up. So definitely check out our virtual tea party on Monday to hear what's new and upcoming. So on with today's episode of the Kenyan Safari Oolong. So how many of you have been on safari? I mean, I'm from Alaska, so it feels like it's a safari sometimes when I'm just walking outside. I'm seeing a coyote, a fox, a moose, things like that. But how many of you have been safari in different places? Indonesia, India, Africa. So this is a Kenyan tea that is not normal. It is very unusual because normally they are black teas. I have my kettle set to 195 and it's trying to keep it at that temperature while I've been chatting. So make sure, just like level 1, that you are weighing out your teas. So in level 1, you will need a cupping set, a thermometer or a digital kettle to have it right at the right temperature, right? You're going to have your scale. And then, of course, your teas that will be coming in the mail. So let's switch over here and weigh out our Kenyan Safari Oolong. And then there's these new bags, and they're very, very durable. So that way, they're no longer being broken in the mail. So very, very durable new bags. Go ahead, tear your scale. Make sure you got your water temperature set about 195 degrees Fahrenheit. This is very, very fluffy. You might notice it's long and twisted. Go ahead, write any comments or questions that you have. Have any of you tried this yet? How many of you have actually tried this Kenyan Safari Oolong? Smells super sweet and kind of fruity. It literally reminds me of peaches. That is very interesting. And very, very sweet. So unlike the Darjeeling Oolong that we've had before, which also tastes and smells like a pitted fruit, this almost smells like a very bright fruit. Okay. And it is dark and long and wiry, so it'll be more of like a traditional Orthodox oolong, kind of like a Wu Yi Big Red Robe or a Phoenix oolong. And some Taiwanese black teas are like this too. And yes, there are black teas that are grown in Taiwan, even though it's not as usual. So we're going to put our water in there and make it go up just to the rim, just below the teeth of the cupping set. And we're going to cup it for about 2 minutes, okay? So while it is cupping there, remember things that you need for your cuppings for level 1 is you will need the cupping set, which you can get at sippingstreams.com if you already don't have one. Also a digital scale to weigh it by the gram if you can. So, if it's 2 grams or 3 grams, that's fine. If you can get it to the decimal, that'd be great. A spoon that you're going to actually slurp out of, preferably white if you can, so you can tell the color. This is just mostly for scooping my loose leaf tea there. Of course, the bowl, so you can notice the observations and your notes, which will be provided in level 1. So we'll be going through a series for 4 weeks on the basics of tea, which many of you here already know the basics of tea. It will be a nice review. And at the end of level 1, we will actually be having a quiz. It'll be just a written quiz. It won't be a full comprehensive, interactive quiz, but it will be a written quiz that you must pass before you move on to level 2. Well, what if you don't pass in level 1? Well, you can take the quiz again, but it's pretty basic, and we'll be giving you supplemental material that will be fun for you even in the month of March, even if you've passed level 1, to prepare you for level too. So all of that tea information, the whole bank of all the knowledge and everything will be helpful for you to build on your knowledge and expertise as you move into how to professionally taste tea and so on and so forth, different grades and qualities. And so your mind will be awakened of all the different sensory things that happen while you're experiencing tea for yourself, for your health, for your wellness, for your friends and family. So it'll be just a really good experience. So now I'm going to decant the Safari Oolong, and you'll notice it's a very, very pale peachy color. Okay, it's not super, super dark. And so that's an observation that you want to make, and you might want to smell it. And you might want to slurp it. Also, another thing you can do is stir it and see how the lighting has any sort of reflection of little dust specks or anything on the surface of the liqueur, the tea. So those are some observations you can make. And when you stir it, I like to stir it, it brings all the large chunks of anything into the center of it. So you can see how clean and how pure it is. And then, of course, you'll want to do the smell test, and you don't want all the aroma to escape, because if you have all the aroma escape, it won't have as much flavor the next time. So let's smell what this is. Oh, very, very pleasant. I'm actually kind of surprised. It smells very earthy, kind of like a roasted oolong for the second sniff that I made. The very first smell I made, it was very sweet and pleasant. Oh, this is going to be very, very interesting. This is the first time I've ever cupped this one. And then you're going to want to do your slurp test. Oh, it tastes very full-bodied, but slightly sweet, kind of like a wooey oolong for the aroma. Not quite charcoaly, but that roastedness, but light and more mild on the tongue, like a phoenix oolong. And these are hopefully all teas that you get to experience of different oolongs. Very pleasant, kind of thick mouthfeel, which is very interesting because there's not a lot of downiness in it. There's not a lot of little fuzzies on the surface floating. So sometimes you can see that or in that when you make a tea if it's very downy. I suspect it's not very downy, but in the mouth it feels pretty thick. Wow, very, very pleasant. All right, so wow, now I'm starting to sense some of the signature of Kenya, what we have learned from the Nandi Gold and the White Rhino. Just because oolongs are in between a green and a white, in between a black, which we've had the Nandi Gold, and a white tea. Now, we haven't tried any, per se, Kenyan green teas. We've had their purple tea, but I'm starting to get little hints and little characteristics that I noticed that are similar in the Nandi Gold, but then lighter and milder tasting and milder in impact. So then we're going to actually flip this over, and we're going to see what the leaves actually look like. And you can see that they're still kind of wiry, and they probably can last a couple more steepings. They're still twisted, right? All good things of a good tea. You want a good twisting. There are some stems in here, not that many. But very similar to like a Phoenix Oolong or a Wooey Big Red Robe, just depending on the quality and the grade of it. Now, I don't really know what Kenyan oolong teas are supposed to taste like, Kenyan oolong teas. I have tasted many Kenyan black teas. Some that were like, I think the most expensive Kenyan black tea I ever got was $400 a pound, I think. Yeah. So, very pricey, very boutique, handmade, just the buds, very golden tips, kind of like a Yunnan Chinese golden tips black tea. Well, I've got to say, I am pleasantly surprised. I think this is going to be one of the oolongs that I'm going to like to add to my collection because I am a fan of oolongs. But if you're a white tea fan, it has that pleasant sweetness on the edges of your tongue. And if you're a black tea fan, it's not as strong as robust, but you taste a little of that lingering, like 3 seconds in, of that earthy, soily condition that you get in a typical Kenyan, of like slightly astringent and acidic, but this is such a nice oolong tea that it doesn't have any of that harshness in it. This is one I would not recommend adding milk or sugar to. It could be washed out in flavor, even though this oolong tea actually has a nice, like, thick viscosity to the liqueur, but I feel like you're going to dilute it once you add any milk in it. So definitely enjoy the Safari Oolong plain. I hope you join us on Monday during the virtual tea party. Remember, all those events are in the Google Calendar. If you need any help at all, feel free to reach out to me. You can text me. That is my number. Also, you can email me at jenny@sippingstreams.com. I hope to see you this Monday, 8 a.m. Alaska Standard Time, which I think is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, in our virtual tea party in Zoom. So make sure you click on that Google link, and I will be sending out another email out to you guys tomorrow reminding you of the virtual tea party. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you again.